Hey, what up guys? It's Trevor back with another video, baby! In today's video, we're going to be talking about, did Fred Durst, the face of nu metal, actually ruin the genre of nu metal where people don't even want to talk about it anymore? And if you're not familiar with what nu metal is, it's music like Limp Bizkit, Korn, Linkin Park, Chevelle, bands like that in the early 2000s that were kicking ass. And Fred Durst was basically the poster boy of nu metal. He was on radio, he was on interviews, he was on MTV, he was everywhere that nu metal was. He was there, and everybody talks crap about Fred Durst, saying he's whack, he's garbage, he sucks, he's not great. But one thing Fred Durst does that a lot of other artists don't do is Fred Durst has kept it real. Ever since his very first album, $3 Bill Y'all, he's been playing the same music that he did when he first started. You can't hate on a guy who ends up getting famous, getting popular, playing the biggest stages in the world, playing Woodstock 1999 in front of like 200,000 people. You can't hate on somebody who was kicking ass and taking names. So for everybody who always says Fred Durst is whack, I don't get that. Just because he was the main guy in Limp Bizkit that got a lot of notoriety, and maybe he talked a lot. I don't remember the early 2000s if he talked a lot or he said a lot, but he did what he did and he was great. I don't think he was the downfall of nu metal. I remember a lot of hardcore metalheads were saying nu metal sucks because there's no solos. What nu metal had was instrumentals, and they had a lot of hip-hop flair. A lot of people say the innovators of nu metal were Korn. So if you're going to hate on a band like Limp Bizkit, you got to hate on people like Korn for innovating the style of what we know now as nu metal. Because a lot of people say Korn is the innovator. And Fred Durst, I don't think sucks. I think if you listen to the musicianship of what Limp Bizkit's doing, they have some really great musicians. They're very entertaining. They're very talented, and they don't suck. But Jacoby from Papa Roach says, well, Limp Bizkit is kind of the poster child for nu metal, and a lot of people think Fred Durst sucks because Fred Durst isn't that great. Fred Durst was whack, and he kind of says that, but he says in the interview that Fred Durst is still good. They're friends. That he doesn't have any ill will towards the guy, but in the end of the day, I do not know why people hate Limp Bizkit. And it's the same thing. You either hate Limp Bizkit or you like him. It's the same thing with Nickelback. You either like them or you hate them. There's a few bands out there that you can't say, well, I don't like them, I don't even hate them. But for a lot of metalheads, they say Fred Durst is whack. Last, because they were just a one-hit wonder, and a lot of those bands you could definitely tell were one-hit wonders. They weren't great. They had one good song and they could not write anything else. Like Chevelle, for example, they had one or two hits and that was it. Trapped. That was a band that was... I've never gotten into that band, but they were a band that never really took off. You had, in the same era as nu metal, you had pop punk, and pop punk is not around anymore either. But people don't go out there blaming Good Charlotte, you ruined pop punk because you suck. No, they don't. They always just hate on Fred Durst for some odd reason. But I'm Trevor, as always. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think Fred Durst is a cause of nu metal to be no longer tolerable, no longer great, no longer good? Because I seen an interview with Fred Durst and TMZ, and he was saying, hey, what have you guys been up to? And he goes, hey, we're working on a new album. And he said, how come you don't tour anymore? He goes, yeah, we tour all the time. And he goes, what do you mean you tour? And Fred Durst goes, we tour outside the U.S. because nobody in the U.S. wants to support us. And the last time they actually toured in the U.S. was 2013 when I seen them here in Jacksonville, Florida. And that was a badass show, seeing Limp Bizkit. I thought it was one of the best shows ever. They tore it up, basically. They even played a Rage Against the Machine cover, which was pretty badass. But as always, like I said in the very beginning, this video was about Jacoby of Papa Roach saying that Fred Durst was the face of nu metal, and he basically ruined it, and that's why a lot of people say Limp Bizkit sucks. Zakk Wylde says Limp Bizkit sucks. A lot of guys in metal say Limp Bizkit sucks. It's because they're not traditional metal, because they have hip-hop flair in it. And the funny thing is, a lot of people will say, well, Aerosmith and Run DMC, they did a rap metal song, and that's great. Well, what's the difference? Fred Durst is just doing it full time, and those are just two groups that did it one time. So as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Just let me know what you guys think. Fred Durst ruining new metal. Yeah, okay.